We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Close the damn door, man. You're letting all the Wi-Fi out.
Okay, there we go. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Hold On, I'm Almost There, a show about life's little annoyances, personal growth, dad life, and so much more with your hosts,
Tom the Blade,
and myself, Uncle Frank. So have a seat, do them chores, or twist a wrench while we dive down the rabbit hole. On today's show, we have a super special guest, Drew Zakmin from the SongsGoneWrong podcast.
right?
He
Happy to be here.
us. Yeah, he joins us tonight to talk about some music. We're talking about some really cool stuff, and we want to send a special shout out and say congrats to all the graduates of 2021.
That's awesome, man. Drew, thank you so much for joining us. I love your podcast. I love listening to your show. It's so entertaining, man. The amount of research you do on your show on these songs, man, it's just incredible. I learn something new every time I listen to it, even if I don't agree with you on some of these. You know,
which is always.
Yeah, I think we've had some disagreements as far as what we think about songs. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys listening to it. Yeah, we definitely do.
Right.
I don't even know how much. I probably write at least like 4 to 5 pages of next every single episode.
Yeah.
So it adds up. But yeah, it's fun. But no, I like your show too. Been listening to you guys for since this whole year, right? You guys started,
Yeah, man. Since
it's been a bit
of last year.
Oh, August.
Yeah.
We found him. We found the guy, Frank.
I know.
We found
I'm
him.
telling you. Holy moly. We finally got a hold of him. We've been talking about doing a show with you for so long.
Been a while, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're talking about tonight, and thank you so much for joining us tonight and being a part of the show. I don't know how many of the shows that I've listened to. One of my favorite shows of yours was the Prince. What was it?
At Dance.
Yeah, it was a while back.
No, I'm
but
sorry,
I'd
Party
go
Man.
back-
Yeah.
Go back and listen to it.
Oh,
over
yeah.
and
Let's
over
start
and over.
arguing about this.
Yeah. And then every time we start talking about music, Tom always says, I hate 90s music.
Hates it.
I'm like, dude, that was my heyday. Like, you can't hate on the 90s. Come on. But
Oh, man.
yeah, he's like, when you're talking about 90s music, you mean Tejano, right? No, dude. No. But yeah, man, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
I'll tell me before you start. I'll tell you one of my favorite episodes you did, Drew, was the one when you did "Don't You Want Me."
Oh, the human link.
man. Yes, that brought back so many memories. That was like my song. I would turn that song on when I was getting ready to go out when I was in high school. And it was just like that was my automatic jam, and just listening to your research behind it, and you going through the lyrics, and oh man, I was just laughing and thinking about it so much. And man, I just appreciate you doing that show.
Yeah,
because
thanks.
it does bring back so many memories, and we all love walking down memory lane, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's
yeah.
what it does for me. And it's just you do such a great job of entertaining us, and I appreciate it, and thank you for that.
No, well, thank you very much. Yeah, that definitely is that's a great hype song. I wish that'd be all. I think you got to put that on your gym mix too, man.
Yes.
Oh, could you imagine him working the delts and the lats?
I was singing "Don't You Want Me, Baby" as I was looking at myself in the mirror. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Someone somewhere has a secret recording of you working out as you're whistling that song to yourself. I guarantee that.
I hope so.
It's there. I will pay. I will pay for that. Whoever out there has it, let us know. My email is in the extras there on our website, and hit me up. We'll talk. Let's talk numbers. It's good time. Good time. Yeah. So we want to say congratulations to all the congrats of 2021. Holy moly, you made it through an amazing last year.
Yes.
To finally graduate this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, the effort.
This does include my daughter. My daughter's graduating.
Hey,
My last
congrats.
one. Yeah, my last one to be finishing high school. The last one.
My God.
The last of 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Holy cow. Look at you.
Where did the time go?
Oh my goodness.
Flies by, man.
It sure does.
Oh my goodness. Wow. My kids are, I don't know, like 6 or 8 years away from graduating from high school, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, man, holy moly, that time does fly by, man.
Don't blink.
Don't finding squirrels in your toilet, and now they're graduating. I mean, it's crazy, man. Crazy. So let's see. Tom, you want to go ahead and kick it off? Talk about, let's hit your bullet points, and then we're gonna have Mr. Drew Zakmin here give us you had your top 10 list of the most used graduation songs, and then what's hot this year.
Yeah, I have a list of some of the best graduation songs.
Right.
And I feel like this year, I don't know if you guys are going to talk about, but man, 2021, that class, they went through so much, like with the pandemic and being away from their friends last year. Maybe some of them didn't even have their junior or senior prom. So I feel like, when I put my list together, I feel like I went with kind of some of the classics, and I might piss Tom off a little bit here, and I apologize in advance, but there are some 90s songs on there, buddy.
I love the tension that I'm learning to embrace it and love it.
But there was some good 90s music.
Yeah, I think the 90s had a lot of really good graduation songs too. So, and it's right around the time when I graduated too. So,
and you mentioned a little bit about the pandemic and everything the class of 2021 is going through.
Yeah.
Last year was 2020. My son graduated last year, and there was no graduation, no prom, no nothing. Oh, wow. So this is also a special shout out to those graduates. Yeah. They didn't get to even celebrate, right?
It's true.
You couldn't get out of the house. You couldn't do anything. So this is also a shout out to those graduates as well, like my son, who didn't even get to enjoy any of the festivities. So this episode goes out to them as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So everybody that was on lockdown, everybody that was on, house arrest, that didn't get to do the things they needed to do, or just the rite of passage, really, because that's what the graduation stuff is. It's a rite of passage. Exactly. It's a long-held tradition. I had no idea until my wife told me earlier that the name of the marching graduation song apparently is called Pomp and Circumstance.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very popular.
Did not know that. Holy cow.
Yeah.
When she kept saying that, I was like, that's the name of the song? And she's like, yes, the song that they play as you're walking down I was like, oh, I had no idea.
Not a good name.
Yeah, no joke. I was thinking back, I was like, that doesn't sound like any song I remember from the 90s. Like, get out of here.
90s.
But no, Pomp and Circumstance definitely would have been an 80s song for sure.
Yes. Oh yeah, that would have been a better title.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Little synth to it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But Frank, a couple of things I want to do. I went through and I was reading, trying to find some really good quotes to share with the graduates, and I found several that are really good. And this is one of my favorite ones. That if I were to read a quote to the graduates, this is one of them. It says, "Life is like a camera. Focus on what is important. You capture the good times, you develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, you take another shot." And I thought, man, that just rang so well, especially because speaking of my daughter graduating, we just went through this whole ordeal of trying to get her pictures done, right? And here in Houston, it's been raining every weekend, so we can't get it done. Dealing with the photographer, trying to set up times. The photographer is awesome, though. She was, worked with us the whole time. So when I saw this thing about cameras, I said, oh man, I can relate to this so well. And a couple of other quotes. We're always going out there. It's going to take a lot of courage. It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are and who you really always want to be. And as kids, we always seem to think we know everything. Right. They think they know everything already. They haven't even walked across the stage to get their diploma. And one of the awesomest quotes I read, it said, limit your always and nevers, right? These final, we always make these judgments. Limit your always and nevers. You're too young still to know the difference, right? Don't put limits on yourself. Don't already start classifying things as we can't do this or I can only do that. Your future, your opportunities are unlimited, right? Everything is open to you. I tell my kids this all the time. You're right now is the greatest time of your life. You got so many opportunities, so many roads you can take. And if you're going down a certain road, you can always change, right? You're not stuck to any certain path. You're in the greatest time of your life. Enjoy it. Take advantage of it. Don't keep thinking, well, tomorrow I can do it. There is no more tomorrows. Do it today. We harp about that every episode, it seems like.
Yep.
Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Set goals, not dreams, because you got to wake up from a dream.
Yep.
Set that goal. Don't look at it anymore as a dream. Look at it as this is my goal. Dreams, we tend to think of those things that kind of like a fantasy, right? Those things that are kind of unattainable. Yeah, if everything went right or whatever, wishy-washy about it. But if you make it a goal, you set a goal, set it down in paper, write it like we say every day, 15 times a day.
Yep.
Things are going to work for you. And we having Drew on the show, Drew's music related. I wanted to share. It's one of my favorite lyrics from probably my favorite rap album of all time, believe it or not. And it's from the 80s.
I was gonna say, is it the Chronic?
I was gonna say
close. I don't know if you remember the D.O.C.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was affiliated with NWA, right?
Yep.
One of my favorite lines he ever said: "Knowledge is the key, and hard work is the fee." If you remember that as you go through life, yeah, it's great to have knowledge, but
that's a good
hard
one.
work is going to get you to where you want to go. What do we always say, Frank? Nothing works like work. Remember
right,
that,
man.
Apply it to your life, believe in it, and it's going to work for you. I promise. Nothing works like work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. I have two daughters. One is just turned 5 and the other is going to be turning 8 in another month. And they are Disneyed out of their minds, and they have been for the last, I don't even know how many years. But one of the ones that I always like, and they like it as well, is The Princess and the Frog. And Tiana's my favorite princess because she's always the one working. She has like 2 jobs, and even her dad, she's out there trying to wish on the star, and her dad's like, you can do that, but you got to work too. So I'm always a fan of that Disney classic. And I'm always like, hey girls, let's watch Princess and the Frog again instead of, like Rapunzel or some shit. So,
so while you're talking about that quote, limits and not knowing the limits, my all-time favorite quote, write this down on an awesome piece of parchment and bury me with it. It's a quote from Bruce Lee, not from Anthony Bourdain. Tom, before you start saying if you always put a limit on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. Right. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them.
That's right.
And I'm always talking about building plateaus, man, because, you build them because you're putting the work in, you're figuring out what's making you uncomfortable, all that hard work that you put into it. And then when you're done building it, you get to jump and springboard onto the next one.
Right.
Constantly moving and going beyond the plateaus and those launch pads that you're building for yourself, one launch pad at a time, man.
Right. And that's, people get so frustrated, when they reach a plateau and they say, like, I just can't get over this hump, like they're stuck in one certain space. I see it when I'm working with these people, but you've got to find a way. Sometimes you just got to change it up a little bit, but you can get over it. You can jump off from that plateau and keep moving as long as you keep applying some work. And as long as you stay focused and stay determined to get there, you'll get there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you had your quotes. Some of the things that I prepped for tonight's show was I had a couple of bullet points that, that I've learned since I've graduated. It's been about 21 years since I've graduated. I know you got maybe 2 or 3 more years on me from graduating there, Tom. And then you said that you we're around the same age, Drew, in terms of graduating and all that. But some of the things that I've learned over time is learning when to speak. You really have to learn, hey, it's time to be quiet and listen.
Right.
Or, hey, it's my turn to talk. It's my turn to give my ideas. Learning how to handle conflict. I think that is something that takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. Because if you go in there and you start barnstorming things and just wrecking ball everything, you'll find out real quick people don't want you around because you're a know-it-all or you're a something or other. And granted, hey, you're just trying to be you. But if you plan on changing people's minds, you have to learn how to communicate with those folks. First understand, first understand, then be understood, right? Let's see, what else do I have here? It's always better to go after what you want rather than wanting what you can't have. I don't know how many times, it seems like a reoccurring theme, right? Yes, you have to put in the work. Yes, you're going to slip up. Yes, you're going to have setbacks, but you learn from all that stuff. You learn how to keep pushing yourself forward. You learn how to stay consistent, dusting yourself off, making sure that you get to play a little bit harder tomorrow, and really learning to compete with you from yesterday. Because if you're competing with other people, then you have no idea what they're doing behind the scenes. You have no idea what kind of work they're putting in. So if you're competing with something you don't know about, you might be setting yourself up for a hard fall. But if you're just continuously competing with who you were yesterday to improve on what you've got going on, you will get so much further. Your mindset will begin to adjust, knowing that you're doing everything you can.
Right. We always say, get 1% better every day. Just one.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Oh. Yep. And then, my last one, really quick. And I really want to see Tom's face when I say this. I know everyone can't see this. Motivation is for suckers. Habits and discipline don't believe in finish lines.
That's right. That's right. When you don't have motivation, you have to fall back on your discipline. Discipline is what will get you through. The discipline blade, right?
That's it.
Right. Motivation only lasts for so long. It's not there every day. But the discipline of what you've ingrained inside your mind, your body, your will, that works all the time. As long as you have that, you almost just do it like just automatically, right? As long as you have that discipline.
Yep. Ooh, I got him riled up. Look at his eyes.
Man, he's fired up.
Yes. All right. All right, man. Drew, let us know, man. What are the hot songs? Give us 2020s and 2021's hot songs for graduations.
Yeah. So I think, so a lot of the things that I've seen people using, and I asked around to a couple of people, actually, my nephew, he's in high school. He's a freshman now, but he does a lot of seniors from playing baseball and stuff. So I was like, do me a favor, ask around, like, what are some of their graduation songs? And he said, they're like, it's nothing that's like new or that has recently come out. A lot of them have been kind of tried and true kind of classics. So this one is my favorite. I'm probably going to talk about this on my show too, just because there's so much here. I mean, a lot of the things that you were saying, Tom, earlier, like some of those quotes, some of them are in here too. But everybody's free to wear sunscreen, which was from Boz Lerman, came out in 1997. But the lyrics are actually from Mary Schmick, who's a columnist for the Chicago Tribune. And she wrote this column in early 97. And basically, it's like a spoken lyrics song. And the lyrics, I mean, I have them in front of me here, but it is, man. And when it happened, because I graduated in 98, and this song was, around, I feel like that end of the decade, kind of actually end of the millennium was kind of, there's a handful of graduation songs that were coming out, but basically he's like, wear sunscreen. But then, then he's like, enjoy the power and beauty of your youth, until they faded. You'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in the way you can't grasp now. So, things like that. Don't worry about the future, or worry in general. I feel like I should have taken that advice a little bit better, but I did not. But he said, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubble gum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind. And do one thing every day that scares you. That's a lot. That's how we grow, right? You kind of get outside your comfort zone, because if you get too comfortable, you're not going to grow.
You're not growing.
Crap. Yep. Floss.
That's a good one.
Don't waste time on jealousy. Yeah, that's another big one. And he said sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. So going back to what you were just saying, you're Frank, I think you're the one who brought that up. Competing with yourself. Right. And here's a really good one. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. And he said the most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. So
I just figured it out, right? I'm about to turn 50.
Yeah.
It takes time sometimes,
Yeah,
I still don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, but
I know.
But that's like a bit of advice too. I feel like when I was younger, when you guys asked me to come on this show, I kind of put together some thoughts too, like what would I have told myself? And I feel like the last couple of years, because I turned 40 last year, and it hits you a little bit. I feel fine. I actually feel better now than I did in my 20s, like physically, because I've actually been working out.
There you go.
And not drinking as much. And just in general being an idiot. But I think what I have been doing is like actively trying to figure out what makes me happy. What do I want to do? What's my purpose? How do I want to live the rest of my life? And when I was younger, I'm like, oh, let's just go out and party and drink. And, that didn't do anything for me. When I was in college, I'm like, let's just take some classes and get it out of the way. But I went for computer science and math. So I was just good at it. And I figured I would have a career in that, which I do. So from that standpoint, it worked out. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily happy doing that work. And I think what I should have done was maybe tried and branched out more when I was in college, like take some classes that I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to take it because it's different, and maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, but at least I'm trying something new. So I think that's, I think that kind of goes to that point of like trying to like actively find what makes you happy. What do you want to do? And if you don't have the answer, that's fine, but at least start chipping away at it. And then eventually you'll start knocking off things that you don't like. And eventually, hopefully, you'll be like fine tuning what you want to do. So, that's
the funny thing is you talking about, chipping away at the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Many years ago, when I was still able to eat absolutely everything I wanted to, because of my food allergies, I got so tired of asking my coworkers, all right, well, what do you guys want to eat for lunch today? What does everybody want for lunch? And everybody, I don't know. So then I started saying, let's start with what you don't want to eat for lunch, so we can knock that out of the way and then actually find something that everybody kind of wants.
Fine tune it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's gotta be a great piece of advice that you're talking about too, is, hey, find out, because it really is difficult if you haven't been looking for what it is that makes you happy. It's hard to know what that is, because you've been doing something for so long, it's just become muscle memory.
Right.
And you're just going through the motions, doing whatever, staying in your comfort zone.
You get comfortable. Right? Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you actually start looking for what puts that spark back into you, what motivates you to wake up early, what motivates you to wake up at all and get out of bed and start pushing, that's when you really get excited to move forward. You really start looking at the possibilities. There's so many possibilities once you actively look for what you want.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
For sure.
It's one of the ones I quote that came across. It's better to be a failure at something you love than to be a success at something you hate. Right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I identify with that. So, by all measure, I've been a success, as a paramedic firefighter, doing all that stuff, but it's just, it didn't wake me. I didn't get up in the morning like, I can't wait to go to work. Now, doing this stuff that I'm having to work my butt off with and do all these things and worried, honestly, am I going to be good at this or not? But I'm loving what I'm doing, right? And I can't wait to go try it. And one of my favorite, another quote that I've always loved, it says, "The price you will pay for not making your dreams come true is far greater than the price you'll pay to make them come true." And Frank, you talked last week about regret, not wanting to live with regret.
Ooh.
I had been living with all this regret that I hadn't tried those things that I've always wanted to do, that I let those opportunities pass by. And one day I finally said, you know what, that's it. I'm not living with this anymore. I'm going for it. Whatever it takes, I'm going to go for it. Maybe I'm going to succeed. Maybe I won't, but I'm going to go. I'm not going to be laying on my deathbed thinking, man, if only I'd have tried. I'm going to try, and I'm going for it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that your octopus died. You've learned from your octopus, and now you're actually going out there and living it up.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I would tell these graduates, you're right now, you're so young. You got your health, you got everything. Go for it now. Don't worry about whether I'm going to make a lot of money in this field, or I'm going to, get this or get that, get this beautiful new car. Worry about doing what makes you happy. And if you love it and you're dedicated to it and you become successful at it and really good, that money, all that stuff will come in time.
Yeah.
People are going to pay good money when you're really good at what you do. You're going to find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Oh yeah.
And then when you're passionate about that, it's going to show. And it doesn't become a job anymore. It doesn't become work. It becomes your passion and your purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. For
people feed off that and they see it, right?
Yeah.
And they want to be involved with it.
I mean, you're a prime example for both of you, actually. Drew, man, you have your music, the research. I respect like Tom was saying earlier, I respect the amount of research.
Right.
And in the very early on stages of the podcast, even, I reached out to you. You gave me so many great tips, and I started to integrate them. I've got my OneNote. I've got most of my show notes prepared. I've got everything because I want to put in that type of effort. With Tom and working out, his motivation for wanting to succeed is infectious. You become who you hang around. You become what you listen to. And if you're listening to a bunch of negative stuff or people just berating you about how you're no good, well, yeah, you're going to begin to believe that stuff. But if you even if you're on the outer ring of people talking about doing good things for themselves, doing something a little bit more, trying to knock out that 1% better, you will begin to question, hey, what is it that I can do right now to help me succeed tomorrow?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I had forgotten all about it, but Frank mentioned how you helped us in the beginning, gave us all the tips and shared what you knew. Man, that's another thing I would advise to Grad. When you learn something, when you come upon new things, share it with others who are struggling to find their way, because it will come back to you. Don't worry about, if I share it, he's going to get hit. Believe me, it's like that karma, right? You put it out in the universe, it's going to come back to you. It will. Other people ahead of you are going to share with you in turn.
Yeah, I mean, the way I view things, I mean, life is a team sport. Like, it sounds kind of corny, but
it's for real.
I believe that, when you help people out, and it's just you do it because it's right and you want to help,
Right.
And we're all going somewhere together, So
That's right.
if I'm like, screw you guys, figure it out on your own, I had to, or but I mean. Right. What is that going to get me? Nothing. So,
That's
just help, and also, and ask, if you don't like it's one thing to pass it on, but it's another thing to also ask. If you don't know, ask, maybe find somebody who's in your field that can maybe mentor you, look around and try to find somebody that you can, or somebody that could take you under their wing too. So,
and that's a very good point. Be realistic with yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we fake ourselves into thinking we do know. Be realistic. Do I need help? And so a lot of times we lie to ourselves, say we don't. We do. Find somebody that's good at what you're trying to do and approach them and see if they'll help you. And 9 times out of 10, they will.
Yeah. Because believe it or not, a lot of people want to help, but don't just show up with your hand out saying, well, I haven't done anything. I haven't put in my time to research. I haven't, I'm just showing up. Teach me. No, it does work like that for some people, but for most people that you really want to learn from, they're looking to spread their ideas through you. And if you're there asking to be mentored, well, they have to see you putting that work in, because they don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste your time. If you're real about what it is, whatever it is you're trying to learn, you show the person that you're asking to mentor you that you're for real. You're showing up, you're putting in the work, you've done your due diligence, you've tried from every angle that you could think of. Now it's time for them to give you their angle, because everyone's perspectives is completely different. They're going to unlock something that you never thought of, and vice versa. You may unlock a new idea that the person that's been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years had no clue that was out there.
It's like being a parent, like I said, my kids are 5 and soon to be 8, and their perspective on things, sometimes I'm like, holy crap, did you really just say that? And it blows your mind. I'm like, you're 5. Like just the way they look at things, it's like, wow, I didn't even think of it that way, but to them, they just see it completely differently. So that mentorship can go both ways too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of my old bosses at work, awesome guy, smart guy. One of the things he would always say, and because he always had the answer, it seemed like, but one of his quotes he actually loved kind of living by was always assume you don't know everything. So whenever you're in any situation, sure, you have like whatever information you have already, but just in the back of your mind, be like, all right, maybe there's more here that I'm missing or whatever. So you never stop learning too, but.
That's right. Yeah.
But Baz Luhrmann, love it. Awesome song. Another one that I really like is I Go Back by Kenny Chesney. My wife is a huge Kenny Chesney fan. But that's a great tune where he just kind of talks about like different songs. If he hears a certain song, it brings him back. And one of them is when he was in high school with his friends. So that's a cool tune. I like it.
That's great. Yeah.
A classic. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I don't hate it. But Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
It's a great song.
It's a good one.
Probably Tom's. That was Tom's graduating song.
Oh man. But that's a good one. I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack.
Oh, that's a good one.
That came out in 2000. So skip the 90s there for you, Tom. There you go. That's a good one. Take the chance, and also live in the present. I think that's another thing too. I feel like I feel like over the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people that I've talked to in general, I feel like a lot of them, it's because the last year sucked. They're going back to like, when they were kids and like things were happier times, and once in a while is fine, but I feel like you can really get sucked in and that can be dangerous. And I think, keep your eye on, stay in the present, keep your eyes on the future, build towards the future, and then use the past as kind of like your guide a little bit, but don't live in the past or in the future really, because then you're going to miss what's going on right now. But, I Hope You Dance by Leanne Womack. Great tune. This one, it came out, I think either the year I graduated or the year after, but Graduation Friends Forever by Vitamin C. It's all right. It's a good graduation song. I mean, it's called Graduation. A little cheesy for me, but
it's no Pomp and Circumstance. But I mean,
no, I might as well have been called. Might as well have been called Pomp and Circumstance. It's not terrible. Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. That's a good one. Because when you're graduating high school, that's kind of when you're really starting to
I really like that song.
But that's a good tune.
It really is.
Now I'm going to jump to the 90s, Tom. So stay with me here, buddy.
There we go. Buckle up, Tom.
From 1991, Life is a Highway by Tom Cochrane. None of that Horse Crap by Rascal Flatts. I'm talking the original by Tom Cochrane, because Life is a Highway, man.
You hate that cover so much.
Oh God, it's the worst. The worst. And I had to listen to the entire album for our show.
I know. Hey, you just made a comment about it. I just saw you on Twitter. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. You made a comment about the cover.
Oh, somebody was asking about covers. Like, what's a good cover? What's a bad cover? And I'm like, Rascal Flatts. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
terrible.
Having seen all the Pixar and Disney movies, I'm sure you've seen Cars once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
If the cover of that song would have been in the original Cars, would you have stopped the movie and not let your kids watch the rest of it?
I told them ahead of time. I'm like, listen, girls, there's a song in here that Dad doesn't like. And when it comes on, I'm like, this is the one. And so they know. And I don't think they like it either. So I think I'm raising them the right way.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Life's a Highway, good tune. Love Tom Cochrane. Next one, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day. That also came out in 97. So that's a great song. I feel like that when I graduated in 90, I feel like that was kind of the song that was really making the rounds by then. So I think Good Riddance was kind of like my graduation song, I guess you could say. Great tune. I mean, Billy Joe nails it. So highly recommend that one. There's It's Okay, But I've Had the Time of My Life by Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes. It's a good song. I feel like that my only issue with that is that, the time of my life, because I'm like, but you're only like 18,
Yeah, right.
you still have, God willing, hopefully like several more years and decades to have the time of your life. So I'm like, it's not all downhill from here, kids. Trust me. So, I hope not. Maybe it is. I don't know, but hopefully it's not. So I'm like, it's a good song. Like I said, remember, take some time, acknowledge what happens. All right, this was awesome. This was bad, whatever. Learn from it, and then boom, we're moving on now. And the last one, I feel like this should be one that every college or every high school should play. And when you leave the auditorium or the football field from where you're graduating from, you got to raise your fist. But I'm going with "Don't You Forget About Me" by Simple Minds. Breakfast Club, baby. That's a great tune. So now those are some songs I think that are good for, for any graduation, whether it's high school or college. But I feel like for all the parents listening, I know you guys, this is also a solid dad pod. Good God, avoid these songs at all costs. And I'm going to say, There Goes My Life by Kenny Chesney. Don't listen to it. I am not going to listen to it because the waterworks will follow. And Forever Young by Rod Stewart. Holy shit. I've known that song my whole life. And then it was like, I don't know, like maybe 3 years ago, I was just like listening to it. It came on and I was like, oh, I know this song, Rod Stewart, Forever Young. And then I'm like actually like listening to the words. And then he says, and when you finally fly away, I'll be hoping that I served you well for all the wisdom of a lifetime. No one can never tell. I'm like, oh, Rod, no. I'm like crying. I'm like working from home and I'm like, oh, I'm like a mess. My wife walks in and she thought like somebody died. And I'm like, it's Rod Stewart. So yeah, don't listen to those songs if you have children graduating. My youngest, so she starts kindergarten in the fall time. So I already took the day off of work. So I'm like going to be like,
you have to,
I'm going to be like sitting in her crib, like crying, like a madman. But yeah, so avoid those songs. Another good one, These Are the Days by 10,000 Maniacs. Again, it's a good tune, like I said, acknowledge what's happened, but not everything after that's all downhill. So those are some of my songs I think that are good for graduation there.
I'll tell you a funny story. Every time I hear, and it's not really it's more Hannah Montana songs. Okay. Because that's growing up when I would take my daughter to elementary, we would be jamming Hannah Montana on the radio. Yep. We jam them so much because back, I'd have my little iPod playing. So I would hook that into the truck so she could hear it. Well, I drop her off. Well, I'm just instinctively just leaving it on, and I go to the gym, and I'm there, throwing these weights around, and I still got Hannah Montana blasting in my ears. Yeah, I'm just
my
singing
God.
away. And one day I finally realized, man, I am blasting to Hannah Montana. And every time I see Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus, on stage, and it just always takes me back to those days.
Yeah.
It just seems like yesterday, like we just said. I blinked one day, and now here she is. She's going to be walking across the stage, on Saturday. So it goes by fast.
It does.
There's that one song that reminds you of Leg Day, where you're listening to Hannah Montana. Oh my goodness!
Best of both worlds.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's the beauty of music, though, right? And that's pretty much what that song "I Go Back" is from Kenny Chesney. He talks about Jack and Diane and how that takes him back. Only the Good Die Young takes him back, and I forget what the other song was. Keep on Rocking Me, Baby. But that's what it is, I have songs too, like the Moana soundtrack. Whenever I hear that, like you can't not think of the girls. And the other day, there's it's called what's it called, Rockabye Baby. But they take like popular music from like 80s, 90s, forever, but it's like baby instruments, like
the little
bells.
baby tiny pianos.
Correct. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's like a babyfied, if you will, like version of song. Like they have like a Metallica Rockabye Baby. They have an Alice in Chains, and they have like Coldplay, and sometimes I just like listening to those.
Yes, I do too.
Absolutely.
Because they're pretty freaking awesome. But it also makes me think of my kids too. And like we just like be laying in bed, and I'm like, let's listen to this music to help you go to sleep. And so
it's like the Vitamin String Quartet meets everything you find at the baby store to play with the little tiny piano and the little chimes and the xylophone that only has 4 bars on it.
Correct. Yeah.
I love that. Oh man, I love that. Golly, you know what? I'm gonna go listen to that after this. It's so soothing.
Yeah, it's so funny to bring up that Vitamin String Quartet, because I would literally stay up all night at my side job, just passing the time, going through, just listening to all their different versions of the songs, Vitamin String Quartet. Yeah. And there's so many covers. I can't believe they find the time to make all of those covers.
No kidding.
There's a million of them.
Hey, they put the work in, and they came out fantastic.
They sure did.
They came out absolutely fantastic. What the... Oh, so I posted earlier today. I'm super proud of this because Tom helped make this happen. And for those of you that have listened since the beginning, we were 2 downloads away from 4,000 total downloads. That's unbelievable to me that anyone would want to listen to anything that I had to say. Or
that is unbelievable,
right? Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh my goodness, people, if they're just setting some random iPad in some iStore that just downloads stuff, hey, thank you.
Exactly. Thank you to everyone
so much.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And meeting great people and networking. Oh my goodness. For those of you graduating class, high school, college, network, human networking, because a friend of a friend or your friend is going to have a job, or you're going to have a job, and you can introduce them to this person. And oh my goodness, if you make great connections, the possibilities are endless. It's good stuff.
It's huge. Stuff. That's how I found my last 2 jobs, actually. So
and even here.
And then I think the real benefit is, right, anybody can submit a resume and an application to a job, but if you know somebody, they can actually take your resume and physically put it on that person's desk and be like, dude, look at this. And they're going to actually look at it because somebody told them to. So
that's right.
Oh man. So what else you got in the chamber, Tom? I know you got us a good story.
No, well,
off with a good story, man.
You're speaking about networking. That's exactly what happened to me. What I had been talking about all this time that I've been coming on the show about becoming a trainer, eventually getting my own spot, which I've been training at LA Fitness, and now I was supposed to be there right now, coming to you live from that location, but I do now have my own studio where I can train my own clients privately, and that was all through I want to say blind luck, but it's not. It's because of another trainer I knew who put in a good word for me that got me this opportunity that I'm so lucky to have. That I really, there's no way, any other way I would have had this chance to land this opportunity to have my own spot already in a great, awesome location. People familiar with Houston, it's right here at Louetta and Cypress Wood. Great, awesome location. It's in the Peak Fitness facility, and I want to give a special thank you to Joanna for taking a chance on me and giving me this opportunity to use the studio for my own clients. So come down, you get a hold of me through the Twitter, and we'll work something out. We'll get you going to whatever goal you have. I said it before, your goal, and if you know me, will become my goal, and I will be relentless in getting you to your goal. I don't care what I have to do. If we have to meet at 2 a.m, we have to meet at 10. I don't care what it is. I become like single-minded in getting you to where you want to be, because that's just, that's just how I am. I become competitive with myself to see you get there. So just give me a call, or we can still go to LA Fitness, whatever you want to do. But I just want to say it's through, like we said, networking, knowing other people willing to stick their neck out for you, right?
Yeah.
Because of the relationship you built with them. That happened for me. As you go out into the world, as you move through college, as you move into your careers, just remember that how you treat people the way you would like to be treated. It's the golden rule, right?
That's right.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, and it'll all come back to you.
Yep. And I wrote a quote, Tom, spot check me, make sure you didn't hear this from somebody else now.
Okay.
So every genuine interaction is a potential transaction into the investment of your future.
Oh, that's great. Yes. Did you come up with that?
I did.
Oh, it's a good one.
Myself.
You are on a roll.
I was listening to the Lullaby Baby music and Vitamin String Quartet on repeat, and it came to me. It's
a good one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great one. I'm going to say it at the gym tomorrow and act like I made it up.
You should, man. You should.
But Frank gets a cut of that, though, I think, right? Frank gets what, 20% Frank gets.
Absolutely not. If one day Tom is going to say, you know what, I have a spot open, I need somebody to train real quick, so I'll go in, get some reps in, maybe I'll get some cool shoulders like this.
Yeah, we can fit you. You said you only go last week you said you only go once every 6 months?
Once every 6 months, man.
I can fit you in.
There you go. Make it happen. Woo! Stay in shape. Every July 2nd. That's the middle of the year. July 2nd is my day.
Yeah, at least you're consistent, man.
Bam.
That's right. It's like clockwork.
Oh man. All right. So thank you so much, Drew, for hanging out with us tonight.
Yes, Drew. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you finally.
Finally.
On Twitter for so long.
We've been talking for a couple of years.
Yes, you're a great guy, man. It's
likewise.
Awesome. It's great to see that you are a great guy in person. I hope everybody gives your show a shot. Songs Gone Wrong. It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. For people in my age group, it's always something that we can relate to. And I just advise everybody, give the show, listen to it. You're going to enjoy it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Comedic relief, music, everything. It's all in there, wrapped into one awesome package.
You guys are too kind.
Thank you, Tom, for all of your wonderful input.
Thank you, guys.
I didn't see any wincing today. I always look for a little wince from Tom, like a little gnashing of the teeth there. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for hanging out with us tonight. We look forward to talking to you again next week.
That's right. Congratulations to all the graduates. Good luck with your futures, your careers, and I would just remind you, stay sharp.